What's up? So today's video is going to be a little bit different than any other video I've done so far, as what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tell you about 10 albums that came out 10 years ago. So get your time machines ready because we are going back to 2004. Now I know you're all probably asking yourselves, Andrew, why are you taking us back to 2004? Well, the answer is this. Back in 2004, MySpace was king, movies and TV did not suck, and of course, who wouldn't want to go back and relive the infamous Super Bowl 38? The other reason for this video is because Alternative Press ran an article called The 10-Year Anniversary Tour We Want to See in 2014. And what they did is they compiled 10 albums that came out in 2004 and said that these albums we want to see tours of because of, well, for nostalgic reasons. And that made me, get all nostalgic and think, this would make a really good idea for a video. So what I decided to do was to make my own list of 10 albums that came out in 2004, using the AP article as well as the stuff that I listened to in high school. So without further ado, I give you 2004 albums 10-year reunion. To get this reunion started off right, we're going all the way to Canada to visit Arcade Fire and Funeral. Arcade Fire's Funeral makes the list because of several reasons. First, because it's their debut album, and it's one of the best debut albums of all time. I think everybody will agree on that one. Two, because of the iconic cover that depicts the hand holding the feather. Three, the song, especially Neighborhood 3, Power Out, which is the song that Arcade Fire is mostly associated with. It also happens to be the song that I first ever heard from the Arcade Fire as well. Speaking of Neighborhood 3, Power Out, the music video that goes along with this song is this really cool H.G. Wells kind of steampunk animated video, so yeah. Also, this album has another great tune called Rebellion Lies. Every time you close your eyes, 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 every time you close your eyes. And if you needed any other reason for the Arcade Fire's Funeral to be on this list is they're Canadian. I mean, what more could you ask for? Moving on to 9, and we're off to visit Senses Fail, Let It Enfold You. Let It Enfold You was one of the many albums that I listened to constantly on repeat on my CD player and iPod. This album has many of the songs that we all know by this group, including Buried Alive. So let's play Dr. Blame. We'll operate today. Incisions must be made. You could help solve this case for me. I headed downtown to share what I found. It's not a suicide, it's a crime. Rum is for drinking, not burning. Stay with me into the setting sun. The battle has been won, but war has just begun. And as we flow, emotion starts to die. We need to find a way just to keep our desire alive. Now set the sail to quartermass. We'll jump the ship, we'll sink 'em fast. Men follow me to victory. And bite to break skin. The your debut of all things. So whoever designed that cover, major kudos to you. For number 8, we travel all the way to England and Wales, of all places, to visit Lost Prophets, Start Something. This album makes the list because of 3 words: last train home.
But we say, if we're going nowhere, yeah, we say, if it's not enough, and we say, sing without a reason to ever fall in love.
Another reason for this album being on the list is because of Make a Move.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, yeah, I'm so tired of waiting, waiting for us to wake up, wake up, wake up, yeah, I'm so sick of waiting for us to make a move.
When I was putting my list together, I was a little apprehensive at first about including Lost Prophets on here because of the whole Ian Watkins thing that happened, a few years back. But I decided that I'm not gonna let what he did tarnish the group's name and this album. So that's why I decided to include it on my list. Leaving Wales and coming all the way back to the US for number 7, it's Hawthorne Heights, The Silence in Black and White. Hawthorne Heights for me was the band that introduced me to the genre of emo. And back in 2004, emo actually meant something. The Silence in Black and White is Hawthorne Heights' debut album, and it's a really good debut album. This album has the song that everybody knows and associates Hawthorne Heights with. Ohio is for lovers. Contrary to popular belief, the line, cut my wrist and black my eyes, has nothing to do with suicide and is nothing more than a figure of speech. The music video for this song is one that I saw in constant, heavy rotation back on MTV2. That's right, MTV2 people, when it was good. Other memorable songs off this album include Nikki FM,
Silence in black and white. I know I'm outside of your window with my radio. I know.
and Silver Bullet, whose name comes from J.T. Woodruff's favorite horror film.
Got a single silver bullet shot right through my heart to prove I can survive without you. Got a single silver bullet shot right through my heart to prove I can survive without you.
Saying goodbye to the Midwest and going all the way to Sin City for number 6, it's The Killers' Hot Fuss. Right away, when you think of this album, I'm pretty sure you all think of Somebody Told Me.
Well, somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year. It's not confidential, I've got potential. Ready, let's roll on to something new. Taking its toll that I'm leaving without you.
Mr. Brightside.
Jealousy, turning saints into the sea. 20% lullabies, joking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I'm Mr. Brightside.
And maybe all these things that I've done.
Help me out, yeah, you know you gotta help me out, yeah, don't you put me on the back burner, you know you gotta help me out, yeah. And when there's nowhere else to run, is there room for
great. But for me, my favorite Killer song is on this album, and it's Jenny Was a Friend of Mine.
Tell me what you wanna know. Oh, come on, oh, come on, oh, come on. There ain't no motive for this fire. Jenny was a friend of mine. So come on, oh, come on, oh, come on.
This album, which also happens to be the debut, is where my love-hate relationship for the Killers began, as I love this album and have hated anything else since. Going back to the music now, somebody told me, of course, was the very first song that I ever heard from these guys, and of course, it's one of the most catchiest songs of all time. Mr. Brightside, on the other hand, is probably one of the best music videos that they have ever done. I'm pretty sure Brandon Urie of Panic at the Disco drew inspiration from Mr. Brightside. Well, that's 5 down and 5 more to go. So as we say goodbye to Las Vegas and head down to Southern California for number 5 to check in with the influential Green Day, American Idiot. Now for some, American Idiot was their first introduction to Green Day. Whereas for me, my very first Green Day goes all the way back to 1994 in Dookie, which happens to be turning 20 this year. This album, their rock opera, which also got turned into the highly successful Broadway musical, has all the songs that we all love, including the favorite and slightly political American Idiot.
Attention all across the alien mission. Everything isn't meant to be okay. The television dreams of tomorrow. We're not the ones I'm meant to follow. Though that's enough to argue.
The Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
Holiday.
I beg to dream and depart from all lies. This is the dawning of the rest of our lives on holiday.
And of course, the ballad, Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends.
All of those songs are great, but for me, my favorite song off of American Idiot is the rather long Jesus of Suburbia.
To live and not to live, to die in tragedy, to run away, to find what you believe, and I leave behind this hurricane of fucking lies.
This album, just like many of the others on this list, has an iconic cover. American Idiot has the now famous Grenade Heart. Before I continue the rest of this list, I would just like to say these last 4 albums all have iconic covers. With that being said, At number 4, it's My Chemical Romance, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. When it comes to this album, what can one really say about it? Well, besides its iconic cover depicting 2 lovers covered in blood, the song that everybody knows.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. You wear me out. What's the worst thing I can say? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. Why don't you carry on this way? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. I've seen angels the world. Oh, the last thing I see, you are never coming home, never coming home. Should I? And all the things that you never ever told me, and all the smiles that are ever gonna haunt me. Never coming home, never coming home. Should I? And all the wounds that are ever gonna scar me, for all the ghosts that are never gonna catch me.
Including my favorite song off the album, Thank You for the Venom.
Make me leave. Oh, where's this on my sleeve? Give me a reason to believe. So give me all your poison, and give me all your pills, and give me all your hopeless hearts, and make me ill. You're running after something that you'll never kill. If this is what you want, then fire at will.
Every time I listen to that song, for some reason I think of Pirates, which would have made a really good music video. Though why they never did make one, I guess we'll never know. And lastly, if you needed any reason for why 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge is on the list is, well, because of Jared Way. No words need to describe Jared Way. Number 3 sees us all the way up in Amityville, New York, not to visit the famous house at 112 Ocean Avenue, but instead to visit Taking Back Sunday, Where You Want to Be. Where You Want to Be, for me, was the very first Taking Back Sunday album I ever heard. As soon as I saw Adam Lazar, I immediately fell in love with him just like everyone else. Speaking of Adam, I prefer skinny Adam in 2004 than to what he looks currently. This album, just like Tell All Your Friends, has the classic TBS standards, including This Photograph is Proof, I Know You Know.
I know you know everything. I know you didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it. I know you know everything. I know you didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it.
A decade under the influence. Bonus Mosh Pit Part 2. And 180 by Summer.
Are you ashamed to say what you want to? Tell me you want to.
Taking Back Sunday. Whereas I loved their first two albums when they were with Victory, but after they left and went to Warner Brothers, well, I haven't really liked anything since. Though there is that one song off the New Again that I do enjoy. Where You Want to Be is the old school TBS that I love. Amityville was pleasant, but it's now down to the sunny shores of Tampa, Florida, and chill with number 2, Under Oath, They're Only Chasing Safety. They're Only Chasing Safety is my favorite Under Oath album of all time. Immediately, when I think of this album, my mind goes straight to the cover of Girl wearing the oxygen mask. This album was the first with new vocalist Spencer Chamberlain, after the founder and previous vocalist Dallas Taylor left the group in 2003. They're Only Chasing Safety has my favorite Under Oath song of all time, Reinventing Your Exit. Includes the favorite It's Dangerous Business Walking Out Your Front Door, which I'm all sure you all chant along to the Drowning in my sleep, I'm drowning in my sleep, drowning in my sleep, I'm drowning in my sleep. There's shatters to come to a hole. I thought we'd be there by now. I thought it would be so much quicker than this. For me, this album is where my obsession for this band began. It's a shame these guys called it a day last year, but Under Oath is not 100% gone yet, as Spencer Chamberlain has his new band, Sleep With, and Aaron still has the Almost. And believe me, somewhere down the road, we're definitely going to have a reunion that we all will be so happy and excited for. Alright guys, well, here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm about to reveal what the number 1 album is on my list. But before I do that, I thought I'd do a little recap of the previous 9. Your recap, and here we are at number 1. For number 1, it's back to Canada, but this time to St. Catharines, Ontario for Alexis on Fire, Watch Out. This album has helped fuel my obsession for this band, including wearing the shirt if you haven't seen it throughout the entire video. Another thing I love about this album is its iconic album cover, which was created by Justin Winstanley, who has done many of Dallas Green's tattoos. The album's cover is based off the lyrics of That Girl Possessed. Every time I look at this cover, I always think that it would make a great horror film, as the cover looks like an old school horror poster. And why it hasn't been made into a horror film yet, I guess, well, we'll never know. Watch Out has a bunch of classic Alexis on Fire tunes, including Accidents,
just to humor us before we die. If only we could heal ourselves. We wouldn't need to be hooked up to these machines.
No Transitory,
So now that your whole world has gone up into flames, this night is still never ending. Do you think you'll still safe? Seems everything went wrong. We were discovered, but this time there's no tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, tomorrow.
Happiness by the Kilowatt, and of course, my favorite of all time, Sharks in Danger. Why Sharks in Danger never was a single, I'll never know, but it should've. Alexis on Fire, just like some of the other groups on this list, have unfortunately called it a day. And when Alexis on Fire called it a day back in 2011 and went on their farewell tour shortly after, I was very upset that there were no dates in the USA. Out of all the albums on this list, and going back to the original AP article, Alexis on Fire's Watch Out is the tour I would want to see the most. There you have it, my 2004 10-year reunion. For most of you, this video has brought back so many memories and you are now all filled with nostalgia. But I am pretty sure there are some of you who are going like, yeah, your list was good, but you totally forgot about all these other great albums that came out. And you are right, but for my list, I chose the 10 albums that I listened to the most. But don't worry, here's a taste of some other great albums that came out in 2004.
With the sins of knowing what's gone wrong, but do taste and touch, turning a pale blue, leaning in the same. This body's left us soul. The brain needs oxygen. Can't sneak around this space. It's mine. So I'm on BBC Two now, telling Terry Wogan how. Alright, already we're all float on now. Don't you worry, we'll all float on. Alright, already we're all float on. Alright, don't worry, we'll all float on. And I am aware now of how everything's gonna be fine. One day, too late, I'm in hell. I am prepared now, seems everyone's gonna be fine. One day, too late, just as well. I feel a dream in me expire, and there's no one left to blame.
Alright guys, so this has been my 2004 album's 10-year reunion, and as I said before, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you would like to see more of these videos, possibly in the future, why not go where my finger is pointed right now and click on the button so you can subscribe, so you can watch more of these videos, or you also can just subscribe to see what other kind of videos I make. So until next time, this is me saying goodbye.